Hello, my dear students. Today I will be discussing about irrigation. What are the necessity of irrigation? What are the benefits of irrigation? And also the ill effects of irrigation. All of us know irrigation is the artificial application of water to the land or soil. Usually, it is used for assisting the growth of the agricultural crops, maintenance of landscapes, and revegetation of disturbed soils in dry areas and during the periods of inadequate rainfall. So, irrigation may be defined as the process of artificially supplying water to soil for raising crops. It is a science of planning and designing an efficient, low-cost, economic irrigation system tailored to fit natural conditions. It is the engineering of controlling and harnessing the various natural sources of water by the construction of dams, reservoirs, canals, and headworks, and finally distributing the water to the agricultural fields. Irrigation engineering includes the study and design of works in connection with river control, drainage of waterlogged areas, and generation of hydroelectric power. So this is about irrigation. Let us discuss about what are the necessities of irrigation. All of us know India is basically an agricultural country and all its resources depend on the agricultural output. Water is evidently the most vital element in the plant life. Water is normally supplied to the plants by nature through rains. However, the total rainfall in a particular area may be either insufficient or it may be a non-uniform. In order to get the maximum yield, it is always essential to supply the optimum quantity of water and to maintain the correct timing of water. This is possible only through a systematic irrigation system by collecting the water during the periods of excess rainfall and releasing it to the crop as and when it is needed. Thus, the necessity of irrigation can be summarized in the following points. The first one is insufficient rainfall or less rainfall. Here, what happens when the total rainfall is less than needed for the crop? So obviously there will be artificial supply is necessary. In such a case, irrigation works may be constructed at a place where more water is available and then to convey the water to the area where there is deficiency of water. So this is about insufficient of rainfall. Means where there is a more water is available, that water has to be stored and transfer that water or convey that water to the area where there is a deficiency of water. Next is non-uniform rainfall. Here, the rainfall in a particular area may not be uniform over the crop period. During the early periods of the crop, rains may be there, but no rain water may be available at the end, with the result that either the yield may be less or the crop may die altogether. By the collection of water during the excess rainfall period, water may be supplied to the crop during the period when there may be no rainfall. Most of the irrigation projects in India are based on this premise. The rainfall during the water is very scanty and hence rabi crops need artificial supply of water through the irrigation works. Later I will be discussing about what is rabi crops and kharif crops. This is about non-uniform rainfall. Next, third point is the growing a number of crops during a year. Here, what happens? The rainfall in an area may be sufficient to raise only one type of crops during the rainy season, okay, for which no irrigation may be required. However, with the provision of irrigation facilities in that area, crops can be raised in other season also. Means here the rainfall in an area may be sufficient to raise only one type of crops during the rainy season. Means that is kharif crops. But if you want to grow the rabi crops, the artificial supply of water is required. So the irrigation plays a very important role. Next point is growing perennial crops. Perennial crops, for example, sugarcane, which need water throughout the year, that can be raised only through the provision of irrigation facilities in the year. Otherwise, it is not possible to grow the perennial crops. Then the next one is commercial crops with additional water. Here, the rainfall in a particular area may be sufficient to raise the usual crops, but more water may be necessary for raising commercial and cash crops. So, for that purpose, irrigation plays a very important role. The next one is the last point, controlled water supply. Here, by constructing the proper distribution system, the yield of the crop may be increased because of the controlled supply of water. These are all about the necessity of irrigation. I think all of you know all these points. So just remember what I have mentioned. Next, we'll see what are the benefits of irrigation. Okay, here all the irrigation schemes are so designed that they increase the food production of the country. Apart from increasing food, there are many indirect benefits or advantages of irrigation. So these are some of the points. Increase in food production or increase in crop yield. Here, what you can say, due to the controlled and timely supply of water to the crop, the yield is increased. With the assured supply of water, superior crops take the place of inferior crops, and thus the value of crop is increased. For a given crop, the optimum quantity of water required may be determined experimentally and then applied scientifically to the crop. Means for each crop, the requirement of the water is different, so that has to be calibrated first, and based on that water can be supplied to the crops. So this is possible only because of the irrigation system. The next point is protection from famine. The construction of irrigation works helps uh, during the famine and drought period in two ways. During the construction of the irrigation works, employment is carried out to the people, and thus they get relief against famine. After the construction of such works, continuous water supply is maintained during drought. So these are the two extreme cases. One is drought and one is famine. So because of the irrigation system, these two conditions can be managed properly. Next one is the cultivation of cash crops. Irrigation makes it possible to grow cash crops such as sugarcane and indigo, tobacco, cotton, etc. These are the cash crops. So only irrigation makes it possible. The next point is the elimination of mixed cropping. Okay, if irrigation facilities are not available in the area, the farmers have a tendency to adopt mixed cropping, where they grow two or more crops together in the same field. So mixed cropping is like is the cropping, where the farmers grow two or more types of crops together in the same field. But because of the irrigation facilities, it can be eliminated. The advantage of mixed cropping is that uh, if the weather conditions are not suitable for one of the crops, it may be suitable in um, it may be suitable in for the others, and it may be suitable for the uh, others, and thus the farmer may get at least some yield from the same field. But mixed cropping has several drawbacks, especially due to the fact that each crop has different requirements for field preparation, manuring, watering, etc. However, uh, uh, the availability of irrigation facilities in the area gives the farmers the protection against the vagaries of the weather, resulting in the elimination of the mixed cropping system. The next point is, there are many points. I'll just tell you the important one. So it may be the one of the point is addition to the wealth of the country. Almost all the irrigation projects are so designed that they bring some revenue to the state. In addition to the water tax obtained from the farmers, the bumper crops produced due to the irrigation facilities makes country self-sufficient in food requirements and thus saves the foreign exchange. And also we can say increasing prosperity of people. Here what happens, due to irrigation facility, the value of land is increased, and also and due to the increase in the field of the crop and due to the growing of cash crops, the farmers become prosperous, and thereby their living standard is improved. Next one is the generation of hydroelectric power. Major river valley projects are usually planned to provide hydroelectric power together with irrigation. Also, falls on the irrigation channels can be utilized to generate electricity, which may help in industrializing the rural area and also in solving the problem of fuel shortage. Then also all of us we know the water is mainly required for domestic and industrial water supply, and also we can say inland navigation. Large canals can also be used for inland navigation, and thus transportation of agricultural products to the uh, be increased. Then improvements of communication. Then also you can say improvement in the groundwater storage. So like that, there are many points. So I think these are, if you know all these things, that is more than enough. If you want to, if you want to know more, you can refer the textbook. Okay. Next, we'll see what are the ill effects of irrigation. Excess irrigation and unscientific use of irrigation water may give rise to the following ill effects, that is breeding places for mosquitoes. Here, what happens due to the excess application of water and due to leakage of water, ponds and depressions get filled up with water and create breeding places for mosquitoes. And if the canal is leaky, the mosquitoes breed all along the canal and spread malarial conditions. Then water logging. Here, if the water table is near the ground surface, over irrigation may rise the water table. This saturates the crop root zone completely, causes efflorescence, and the whole area become waterlogged. Then damp climate. The areas which are already damp and cold become damper and colder due to the irrigation. So these are the some of the ill effects of irrigation. In the next class, we'll discuss about the different types of irrigation. Thank you.